And welcome to another episode of Sippin Whiskey. We are waiting on my tied up. Happy day. Love and so are internet bad ever. So thanks if tuning in. We're eating whiskey, particularly scared by Valentine's Day. Lovely wool. We're get our hold up. Oh, not yet. He ain't even. Oh, camera would work. Sorry about that technical difficulty. One for Mr. Jump. Shout out to my who, if our watch episode, Ella's 10 is absolute. Valentine's Day, a bottle of bag. It's one of our signature. It's 104 non-chill. Absolutely, drinking that all day. So my cutting in and the volume. I'm trying to comment. Get situated. My wire came in and out, but Eric Hop will be more stable. Sorry about that. Getting some kinks worked out of our filming equipment. So, also, if you're wondering about this other bottle, this is Alexander Murray and Co. From the Blair Athol Distillery. It's a Highland, 17-year-old single malt, actually single cask. That my lovely wife also gave me. This is another high proof, and it's a sherried finish, so right up my alley. So if you're just joining us, we are talking Scotch tonight on Sunday evening sipping. I was gifted this awesome Ardbeg Ugadal single malt, and it is absolutely delightful. I'm actually going to go ahead and pour a glass as we wait for my co-host to join us. And you hear the whiskey mutts in the background, which is fine. And Eric and I will talk about this as once he jumps on. But the one thing I realized about me and whiskey is I like things with like a lot of flavor, like subtleties. I don't really want that. I want some oak. I want some spice. I want some sweetness. I want those big, bold flavors kind of all stitched together. I think that's why I'm such a fan of Wild Turkey. Checks all those boxes for me. Same with Knob Creek. Just kind of looking through my cabinet, Four Roses. All those have some real punchy flavors going on in there. And Scotch is no different. I like big, bold Highland and Speyside with some nice finishes. I love Isla. The peatier, the better. Throw a little smoke in there. I'm a happy boy. One of my favorite ones that I actually got back in the fall around Halloween was the Ardbeg. I'm pointing over. You can't see my shelf. Ardbeg Wheat Beastie. It is a 5-year-old Ardbeg. It is sherry matured, and it is cask strength and non-chill filtered. So if you watched this long enough, you know that like all those things are in my wheelhouse. Non-chill filtered, cask strength, sherry finish. So it's a really nice drinker. It's got a lot of character to it. It gets a lot of crap because it is about the same price as the Ardbeg 10, which is one of the best single malt Islas I think you can get. If you prefer a little bit more smoke than peat and brine, I'd probably stay away from this one, but I like it, so it's absolutely delicious. So Ardbeg actually puts tasting notes on their bottles, kind of like a summary. So Ardbeg 10 is sea spray, tarry rope, immense smoky intensity. And I can vouch for that. That's exactly what it tastes like. Ugadal is treacle, bacon, and bonfires. Treacle is essentially the English equivalent of molasses. It's a cooked down sugar kind of syrup rendering. So I have tried this one. I'm not going into this blind, and it's like candied bacon by a fire. It's absolutely delicious. And they've got a couple. I'm going to try to not butcher them. So Ugadal is Gaelic for dark and mysterious. It's actually named after the lake on Isla where Ardbeg gets their water for their Scotch. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure of the history of the other in the collection, but there's Anoa, A-N space O-A. Also Gaelic. I could probably look it up, but we'll do that. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. And I got to wait for Eric to jump on. So you're here watching me, so I assume you want to know what stuff is. So there's Anoa, and then the other one is Corey Brecken. I do not have the Anoa or the Corey Brecken, and that doesn't tell us what it's named after. So Anoa is named after part of the coast, the Mall of Oa. So kind of like a little piece of land. And then Corey is a gulf and a strait there in Isla in the Isles. So all named after geographic features. That's pretty cool. So if you're just now tuning in, thank you so much for joining us. We are happy to have you. Again, we're drinking Scotch tonight. Thanks to my lovely wife, who may be making an appearance in a bit. There we go. So I'm going to not ruin good witty with good manners, as a friend of mine would say about food. Offer a cheers. This is Ardbeg Ugadal. And you get on the nose, you get a sweetness, but you also get that heavy, peaty brininess. that Ardbeg's so famous for. It's just like the notes on the bottle. I know it's all about the power of suggestion, but honestly, I tasted it before I even read those the first time. You get the rush of thick sweetness, what I would call in a bourbon a start bomb, because it is cask strength and it's not chill filtered. It's just a nice thick syrupy, which is what they're equating to the treacle, the molasses, right into. And this sounds weird, but if you ever had an Islay Scotch, it makes sense. Like a meaty, smoky, salty, kind of briny note. And then on the back end, you get a nice smoky bonfire. So absolutely delightful. Looks like we may have Eric finally joining us. Can't quite tell. We'll give him a second to show up. So Eric and I will talk about this in a little bit. In my humble opinion, and I'm no expert, I think when it comes to gifting, Scotch is probably easier to gift than bourbon. Bourbon, you have a lot of subtleties from brand to brand, label to label. If somebody likes a Knob Creek, they may not necessarily like a Four Roses. It's just different, a lot of different flavors going on, a lot of different proofs. By and large, Scotch is all this within a same corridor of proof. You're looking at 80, 90 proof, unless you get into some of these high proofs like this. This is definitely an exception. I think as long as you know what somebody doesn't like in a Scotch, like if they say, "Oh, I don't like Islay Scotch," every bottle of Islay Scotch is going to say Islay Scotch. All the Ardbegs do. I'm looking at Lagavulin. I'm looking at Colilla. Even some of the blends, you can generally steer clear of some of those, more pungent flavors that may turn folks off. Or if they like Islay Scotch, then to go to Islay Scotches and grab something. I haven't, and I like both Highlands and Speysides. I've not really been able to, like, if you gave me a Highland and you gave me a Speyside, I don't know that I'd be able to tell the difference. So with that, as long as you know what somebody doesn't like and you grab a bottle, you're usually pretty safe. Bourbon, on the other hand, like I'm looking at, you can kind of see over here. So I've got like 3 different Jim Beams, the Beam Black, the Beam Bonded, and the Repeal Batch. All 3 different flavors. There's some similarities between them, but bottle to bottle, you're all over the place. So you can't just say, go get a bottle of Jim Beam. Got Four Roses, Buffalo Trace, Knob Creek, Wild Turkey, Fighting Cock, Maker's Mark, Evan Williams Single Barrel, Four Roses Yellow Label, and Evan Williams 1783. So even between the 2 Evan Williams I have and the 2 Four Roses I have, like a lot of different flavors. And a lot of what could be polarizing flavors with bourbon. Bourbon's got a lot of character, a lot of spice, a lot of potential for there to be, for folks to have a choice. So yeah, I think with Scotch, you just say, "Hey, get me a blah, give me Scotch. I don't like Islay." They could get you a bottle of Balvenie, they could get you a bottle of Glenmorangie, and you'd be happy, I think. And there's the whiskey dogs again. All right, we got Mr. Simpson joining us.
Bidwell.
We can hear him. Can't quite see him. Damn it, now my camera's fucking up. There it is. Hello, sir.
I can barely hear you. Is that me?
Maybe you. Because I've got my mic. Completely below the eardrums of whoever's watching. Testing. Yeah, it's picking me up.
Yeah, I can barely hear you on this end. I'm not sure why.
I can hear you.
Try again.
Hello. Well, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, as Eric figures out how to use a computer.
It ain't the computer. It's the mixer. Can you hear me now?
I've been able to hear you the whole time. Impromptu sound check.
Jason, I would take that as a compliment / insult, but I've had this shirt. Richard could attest to this. I've had this shirt since 2004.
I can vouch for that.
And it still works. This is my Valentine's Day shirt.
All right. So I've been filling the airwaves with yammering. I got to install Messenger. So what I was saying is, in terms of gifting, I feel like my uninformed opinion is that it's easier to gift a Scotch than it is a bourbon.
Yes.
And I think we've had conversations to that effect, that really, as you know what you want to stay away from in Scotch, the world's your oyster as far as like price points and flavors and
God knows what.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like there's less offensiveness in doing a gift Scotch. Less of room, like, I don't know. Bourbon's a little polarizing just because of that new barrel that it goes in, and the science behind that's a little too tricky. And with it being overseas and in Scotland, the Scotch itself is not fluctuating as much. So it's less apt. There we go. Words are hard. To have a fluctuation in negative tastes. I would.
Right. I mean, and I was using, so I'm looking at up here on my cabinet, and nobody can see that because it's off camera, but I've got Beam Black Extra Age sitting right next to Beam Bonded. Those are two very different flavors.
Yes.
From the same label. So if you said, "Oh, give me a bottle of Jim Beam," then, or even a bottle of Four Roses, single barrel versus small batch versus yellow label versus, it's all over the place.
Right. Yeah. Where's Mrs. Mylar?
She is putzing around. She will be dropping in soon.
Yay! I want to hear
just a taste.
I had some.
So yeah, like I said at the beginning, I don't think anybody had hopped on yet. And if you're watching this as playback, lo siento. Ardbeg Ugadal means dark and mysterious.
Can I come in?
It is
and
mysterious.
Now we have a special guest in the studio.
Hello, hot stuff.
Here, I'll get you the other stool.
In the studio.
Live from the Eric's Drink Whiskey studio.
Hi, Shug.
Hello.
Hi, Facebook Live people.
Everybody's watching. All three of them.
It's a little tight over here.
Well, yeah, I know.
Okay.
Sounds like Ugadal, yeah.
I don't like that I can see myself in the...
Well, I have to have it up so that I can read the comments. So just look at the camera.
Okay.
Look party.
So Kendra's going to drink a little bit of Oogadle with us. She is the founder of the feast. Some things you need to know about Kendra.
Oh dear. Uh
Kendra doesn't like whiskey.
oh.
And Kendra damn sure doesn't like Isla Scotch.
Is this the one that tastes like
Band-Aids,
it's
yeah.
burnt?
Yeah. So, hold on.
Oh yeah, this is the stuff I don't like.
So, we're going to waste some on her.
It's just a little bit. It's not wasting a whole bunch.
Let me get all poured up here. I had some with my giant steak earlier. Complimented it very nicely.
Oof, man.
It's a meaty one.
I did not know that that's what I was doing when I bought this.
I'm glad you did.
It smells like medicine.
Like iodine. Or,
No,
septic.
Chloroseptic, that's what it is. I said that the last time I tasted something.
Neosporin.
Chloroseptic is it. That's it. The stuff that you spray in the back of your throat whenever you are sick.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. I always had the cherry stuff.
Mm.
Kendra uses the meat flavored chloroseptic.
Or where would you buy that? I kind of want to know.
Yeah, guys.
Sloan.
Oh,
Sounds like pig Latin. Yes, Sloan. I cannot speak.
that's not great.
I think it's delicious.
And I'm so glad that you do, but that is not good.
You know, I was commenting earlier. Yeah, put that in there for me. They put tasting notes like below the label. So this one is treacle, bacon, and bonfires.
I think that's why I picked it, because I saw bacon.
Well, it all kind of tastes like bacon.
Oh my god.
And that's true. Like you got that burst of like that syrupy sweetness, then like a nice meaty midsection, like yours truly,
I wouldn't call it
and then a nice smoky finish.
like chloroseptic.
No, chloroseptic does not have a meaty, smoky finish.
Eric, that's your new stage name, meaty midsection.
You should try
That's my regular name.
drink some of this, but also get chloroseptic and do a blind tasting.
No, we're not going to do a Scotch chloroseptic blind
I think
tasting.
that's a really
Now,
good
although
idea.
that is a great idea, we get like 6 of the Islas, and one of them's gonna be a mix of iodine and chloroseptic.
Yeah.
Is this sherry finished? No, it's
And-
chemical cherry.
I want it to not finish
That's
last.
the just regular Ardbeg 10.
Oh. This one says sea spray terry rope.
Tari.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Immense smoky intensity. See, I would say this one also has an immense smoky intensity.
That's where it's given to that's like smoked bacon. You ever Kendra? This is not a joke. Have you ever actually been into a smokehouse?
Have I ever what?
Been to a smokehouse.
Smokehouse, like
No.
where they smoke meats.
Like
that
that.
is what smell is.
Ugh,
Like that old stale smoke.
not
Old
good.
stale smoke and like just like that median of like almost rotting meat, but not quite.
Someone said medicine or scotch. That's what I'm saying. Medicine or scotch. It's like cops or pizza.
Cops of pizza. Sleeping or dead.
All right, I'm out.
Thank you for joining us, Kendra.
Bye, Shug.
Bye bye. All right, for all 3,000 of you that are watching,
And we're back.
type in what you're drinking and how much you're drinking and why you're drinking it. Welcome to Eric's Drink Whiskey.
Anything because life hurts.
Oh, so your favorite bar on the outskirts of town? What the hell?
The smokehouse, maybe?
Is that a bar?
I don't know.
What are you talking about, Patterson?
Let us know what you're
Eric,
drinking.
Paging
All five of you.
this one.
It definitely gets more bacony as you let it sit. That's not a bad thing.
Richard's drinking coffee because he just woke up 3 hours. You know, these things got a hell of a burn. Doesn't have much on the outside. When you get on the inside, it's got a real ass on it.
Big meaty.
Big meaty ass. I tell you one thing, for as hot as it is, I can nose deep into this and not singe my face off. But
yeah, it's a high proof, but it's a smooth one.
And comment on the smokehouse, the old bar on the outside of town that just smells like old smoke. Well, there you go.
Here in Gainesville, it's right in Midtown, the Salty Dog.
Imagine putting a piece of bacon in it for Sloan. Now you're talking.
They're speaking our language. All right. So very excited to announce. We plugged it a little bit. We're
no baby. I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. We had a bot hit us last week before last, bumped us up to like 111 subscribers. So YouTube got those folks taken care of, which they weren't really folks, so we don't really miss them. But we are at 98 subscribers, 2 away from 100. When we hit 100, we're gonna give away some damn stickers. Custom design. We got whiskey.
Yeah.
We got bourbon. And we got EDW for Eric's Drink Whiskey. And then we also have our logo in a die cut. You can't see that from very far off, but when we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to open up the floodgates, set up some rules for some engagement. We're going to give away some stickers. So help us get there. Share the word.
Yep.
Plug for us. If you
Ethan Sweet, I'm talking to you. I'm got you lined up here. Take this video, share it, and say, hey, like, share, and subscribe. I love you.
If you tag us, like tag the page or tag our Instagram when you share it with your friends or colleagues or whomever, that's a surefire way to make sure you get a little extra sticker thrown in there for you. So
now, Mr. Miller, I was telling you about my little wine brine experiment there. That is quite damn delicious. I did it for about 6 hours.
How'd you reduce the wine?
You boil it. Yeah, you boil the piss out of it, and then you like once you get about 3/4 of the way like boiled, let it taper off into the simmer, and then what I did is I put a little tiny glass bowl inside of a bigger glass bowl with ice water, and then poured it in there. That way, when the heat hit it, it didn't just pop the glass, and it made it all syrupy. But I took that, and then I mixed that with Montreal, and then coated the steak with it. Oh, and for about 6-7 hours, it was phenomenal.
Nice. And then how long didn't you cook it for?
I'm talking about the whiskey, Patterson, not the temperature. So it's not hot. Anyway, now I did not cook it for an hour. I cooked it for a minute. I love how it types it in twice.
Oh, because it's shooting it on. People on YouTube are gonna be like, "What the hell are these people talking about?" One-sided conversations. I don't know if they cross post, like if somebody comments on Facebook. If it, technology's hard.
I will say, sipping this with the steak, it was pretty up there. Like it was, I probably shouldn't have got a ribeye because that's richer than hell anyway. But it was very, very pungent and had that nice umami flavor.
Did it bring out the kind of meaty middle more than it? Well, because you had a fair amount of sweetness on there, so it probably toned that down a little bit.
Nah, not Not as sweet as you think. That remember because that it was a Cab Sauvignon, so
Well, it was drier than sin to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty dry. But the dry it was like a dry tarty flavor, mixed with the salt and the pepper with the Montreal. It was pretty good.
Nice.
I'm gonna try it next time with like a sweeter red wine, maybe like a Merlot or something, or Shiraz.
I've done my go-to for grilling has always been my Johnny Walker Green, just because it's a little bit of everything. Yes, you should. It is cool.
Meaty middle.
Damn right. Just because it's got that little bit of that pop of smoke from the Colila, and then it's got the fruity maltiness from the Talisker and the others that it has in it. So you don't really have to be in a mood for anything to enjoy it, and it you get the smoke blowing in your face and
mood for some meaty middles.
Meaty middles. This does it gets like more savory the longer it sets.
Sloan, we still on for this weekend, right?
Oh shit! I need to get some Boston bottles sent out.
And you bring those bottles down.
yeah, I ain't sending yours, but I need to send his.
Bring a fair amount down that we can do while we're together. Just always just to have in the hopper, because just because we might not have wife and kids around, so we can just get drunk all day.
Meaty middle.
There you go. Jason Patterson wins him a sticker.
I'll have to get some that and Syrup Bomb and mix them.
I like mix.
That's a good one. Yeah, I was gonna get with you to get a feel for how much and what all we want to do.
Any and all, son.
Yeah, airing this week on Thursday at noon on the YouTubes is going to be a video we did with our good friend Richard, sampling one of his favorites, and that is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. It was actually a fun little tasting we did. It's not one that I've ever gravitated to, but it's got some good qualities to it. And then next week, or in the coming weeks, we're gonna take a deeper dive into some Tennessee whiskey with some older expressions of George Dickel. So stay tuned. Subscribe and key in and monitor the Facebook and the Instagram so you can know when we'll have those coming out.
Is my BSS coming out before Richard's as a mini?
Stand by.
Here we sit like birds in the wilderness. Birds in the wilderness. Birds in the wilderness. I was drinking some meaty scotch. It had a lot of ass to it. What? SES. Sunday evening sipping.
I didn't have either one of them scheduled yet. So we can do whatever. We can do bottom shelf this week and Jack Daniel's next, or
well, I mean the bottom shelf one's only like 7 minutes. You could drop it out. You could drop it out as a midweek surprise, and then still hit the Sloan one on the weekend.
Yeah, fire that out.
I
do some posting.
and then I'm gonna film another one.
So yeah, be on the lookout for a couple of deep dives into Tennessee whiskey. That's not one we've done at all, really.
Speaking of, have you noticed any absence of Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof around you?
Yeah,
I've been to a few stores and haven't found it.
I noticed it when it's like when the single barrel barrel strength rye came out.
Mm-hmm.
When folks couldn't find that, they just grabbed for the barrel proof.
I was so mad because I was like itching to like singe my face off, and I could not find it. I could not scratch the itch to singe.
Yeah, so is that one we want to do as well, or just the Dickles?
No, we could do it too. We want to express that.
Yeah.
It's around that time. It's around that that price range.
I'll just need to get one to keep in the hopper to and
Richard paging.
Getting the behind the scenes look. Good Lord. Are you gonna send out the the number 8 and number 12, or do we just want to keep it with the old Dickel?
Let's keep it with the old Dickel.
Okay.
We'll keep it with the old Dickel, and then while you're down here, I can buy the 8 and 12, and then we can do that on a separate deal.
Okay. Cool beans.
I don't want to waste shipping on those bottles.
Understood.
If it's like $40-$50 bottle, then yeah, it's worth the shipping. But if it's something that's $22, Sloan can go buy it. I don't care. I love you, brother, but
the old regular.
Hey, we could tie that into his name. Hello, my name is Dickel.
Dickel Sloan.
Dick Weasel, attorney law.
I'm going to switch over to my 10-year.
I'm actually going to try one of those that I got today. That was a new one. Hold on.
So the color difference between the two is astounding. Because I think this is sherried. Yeah, ex-sherry casks. And then it's also cask strength. Balnellen.
That's Speyside Glenlivet sherry finish. 40.
Because look how light this is compared to the Ugadal.
Well, look, the one thing the cool thing I do like about Ardbeg is they do say that like no color was added, so all that's like legit.
Yeah. I'd love to do, and maybe we can do it down there if you don't mind.
Whatever you want, brother.
The whole shit and works. 10-year Wee Beastie, Ugadal and Oa and Corey Vrecken.
So let's do like 3 Ardbegs that were $50, and then the rest of them that are the more expensive ones.
Because Ugadal and Corey Vrecken are in the 70, 80, 90 range.
So we could do Wee Beastie 10
and an Oa.
And the
and Oa is the $50 one, isn't it?
Yeah. We could do those. We could do those 3, and then the other 2 do the Kevorkian and no good. I'm not gonna call it anything but Kevorkian. Had to be. Yeah, that Bonellen I found for $32.
Nice.
Like I said, it's 92 proof and sherry cask finish, single malt.
I'm on the hunt. We're gonna figure it out. I think I told you that whiskey I had at my brother-in-law's that was like sherried and like heavily peated and just absolutely delicious.
Is it Sheldag?
No, they thought it started with a B. They're gonna confirm with the guy who got it for him. It's not Alexander Murray Blair Atoll, but this is absolutely delicious. Pricey for what we like to do on our show, but it's about middle range for a 17-year-old single malt Highland.
Boy, that's a change of pace.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't go from
Cheesecake
peated to a Highland or Speyside.
This is like cherry cheesecake. Oh, ooh. Little
Again, if you're just now joining us, joining, don't need to put an extra syllable in there. Let us know what you're drinking. Even if it's coffee, even if it's tea, beer, whatever, we don't judge.
Coffee.
We are just sitting back, sipping, and having a good time. We have been talking scotches this evening, but we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Just throw us a line there in the comments, either on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll be happy to engage.
The tubes of you.
The tubes. I would love very much if at some point Instagram would allow external apps to stream to it, like Facebook is so kind enough to do. And also YouTube.
They're so nice.
Yes.
That is.
Shout out to the folks making this happen, and that is StreamYard. It is a web-based kind of video jiggery program. It's kind of like Zoom, except you don't have to download anything.
Something about those Isla whiskeys just have a good cork. That like they make the corks just hard enough so no air can get into them. Lager like that too.
It's good. You want to make sure they're sealed right so nobody thinks the house is on fire.
Man, this is I don't know how shitty your school lunches were, but we always had one of the desserts that came with one of our lunches, and all throughout my school was just like weird cherry cheesecake thing, but it was like a blop of like cheesecake mixture filling, no crust, and then like a dollop of cherries on it. It was really good. It just, this is kind of what it reminds me of. Cherry frosting.
Does that have that creamy young barley taste to it? Is that what you're getting too?
Yeah. I haven't tasted it yet, but that's what I'm getting. It's like it's very desserty. Like I don't know if that's I don't know if the sherry coming in, but it's very desserty.
Do you remember was it Smoky Joe that we were nosing? We're like, it smells like meat, but also cheese.
Ooh. Not sweet at all.
It's kind of one of those secret sherries.
That is odd. It's very like I get the sherry on it and it's dry. But it is complete opposite of the nose. The nose is like a dessert bomb, and then that's interesting.
What's the proof on it?
92.
Okay.
That's what I've been looking for now when I'm looking for these like budgetish scotches is finish, single malt, and at least 90.
Yeah. That was it the Highland Queen, the Sauterne finish?
Yeah.
That one's really good.
I like hey, for half the price of this.
You're right, for $17.
I'm still blown away by that one. It's like when I was talking to you that day, I was like, this can't be good.
It's non-age stated, but They said,
I think for its parameters, it's at least 3 years old.
okay.
For Scotch law parameters, I think it's at least 3, but that, age is a number.
Scotch Law is also the latest series coming to the History Channel.
That's what we need to do. We need to, dial our wallets down a little bit and just have some kind of like fireside chats to go over some legalities and stuff like that. I would like to do that. I mean, we can do that now, but I would like to eventually do that. Get the playlists put together on the YouTube show of like, okay, here's some history videos. Here is like the bottom shelf stories. Here's the Eric's, like you, Eric, possession. Here's your single barrel tastings.
Yeah, definitely. Because actually, today, let me do the math. Today is 8 months. Our very first episode aired June 14th of last year. Flag Day, but also National Bourbon Day.
We did it. Or doing it. Or
have been, will have done before. Yeah, and I know we've got a couple of goals for ourselves for the next year. Particularly, I think most of mine relate to different flights, different shootouts that I want to do. I'd love to do the Ardbeg sub 50-ish shootout. I think that'll be a lot of fun because I feel like those are 3 very, very different whiskeys. I'd love to do... we talked about like a 10-year-old, shootout of the contenders that fall into that category. If we can figure out a fair way to grade them and scale them, since some of them are kind of all over the place.
You have that BIB one, correct?
Yes.
You also have the
vodka bottle. Yes.
I mean, I've got that one. I'm talking about the other one, the BU. The one that's Four Roses distillate.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Okay. Bring that and the bib down. Bring that in the bib down, and we'll use my R10 and my E10. We'll go ahead and do that one.
Do we want to throw KC9 in there for
the 100 proof?
Yeah.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We can do it.
I mean, I've got the non-age stated, but it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, throw a dark horse in there.
Yeah, we'll throw that one in there.
Or we take the 12 and the 9, mix.
Now we got like 10.75.
10 and a half. Yeah, it's just 10 and a half years old. Actually, legally, it would still only be 9. Ain't that a bitch?
Guys, so
that'd be fun. But we really want to hear from you. Obviously, folks are popping in and out tonight.
We almost.
But after this video airs and it's ruminating up there on Facebook and YouTube, if you're watching it, listening to us yammer back and forth about the different stuff that we want to do, shoot us a message, throw a comment up, and just say, hey, I want to see you guys drink. Man.
We are also open to sending us samples.
Yeah. We'll
there is a whiskey or anything but vodka. If there is a whiskey, brandy,
liquor
of something,
as long as it ain't vodka.
If you want it, not vodka or cordial. It's got to be at least 80 proof. Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
if you want us to send us something that's at least 80 proof and not vodka, we'll drink it and we'll review it. That's fair.
And we'll give you a little shout out too.
Yep. Give you a
Now,
shout out. We'll say you bought this terrible shit, and we're gonna give it. We're gonna tell you how terrible it is. Some PBR. Oh, now coming to a bottom shelf store near you. There's something like that may be in the works.
oh Lord.
So stay tuned.
Oh, because there's two that fall into that.
Shush.
I gotcha. Where we draw the line on things that we'll review based on suggestion. We're not going to review Blanton's.
Yeah.
Or Elmer T. Lee.
That's your guidelines. It has to be findable.
Or Rock Hill Farms.
Right. You have to be able to find it regularly. It's got to be sub $60. We'll say 60.
We'll bump it up to 60.
Yeah. Has to be sub $60 and readily accessible.
Retail too, like $60 retail. If you got screwed out of it and paid $120 for it, sorry for you, but we'll still review it if it costs $60.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that we're running out of stuff to, talk about, but we want to give the people what they want.
Yeah.
We're here for you.
We can only do so much as to what we decide to buy, and that's kind of like the next step in interaction is if you want to see something, let us know. We can there's plenty of ways we can either find a sample of something that we can get, or if you want us to do something, you contact us via Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and say, hey, we want you to review this. Send us a sample. We will do it. And if you want to know how to send a sample, we'll talk about that, through different channels. But yeah, that's what we'll do. And similar to it, I forgot the first one.
Yeah, we've not dabbled too much in Canadian whiskey. I know Crown's got some higher end stuff. I see people
high end stuff that's not bad.
Yeah, I see people losing their mind over what is Alberta Premium.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just because it's like cast strength that they're just losing it, but I'd bet $20 that Sazerac owns it.
Now I'm curious.
Origin. Who makes it?
I'll also say this. We obviously the big boys, like big major distilleries, like most of the stuff you've seen in Strength. We love their stuff. If you got a craft distillery near you or that you enjoy, let us know about them too.
They're owned by Beam.
Beam Suntory. That means I may actually like it.
I want to try that rye that Jeff was hammering about with the.
Yeah, that looks like a neat one. That was
can't remember what
it's like it looked like it was 30% rye. No,
he said it was full deal.
It had to be 100% rye.
He said that thing was full rye.
I just know on the label. Yeah, it gave us.
Let me look.
Minnesota rye and malted rye.
So it's 86% Minnesota rye, 14% malted rye. It's all rye.
Runestone rye, Jay Carver, 100% rye. Is that available down there?
It is because their company carries it. So it's got to be available at some of these stores. I'll talk to Jeff, and if you're here in time, we might get to do a little Eric's Drink Whiskey live with Drink Good Liquor together.
I mean, I've got to work a full day Friday, so probably not, unless they're going until 10 o'clock in the evening.
just just put your name up there. Just put your name up there in the thing that says, "All right, I'm in the office." Jonathan Gorb. All right. Jonathan Gorb is the owner of that company.
Oh, very cool. Thanks for tuning in, man.
Rusto, Roger Carver, 100%
Only has
right.
80 bottles left. Nice.
Let's do it. Yep.
I may see if I can peace out early on Friday.
You better. Jonathan, I met Jonathan. We actually did a Weller deal a few years ago, where he introduced me to Gaspers. My redneck pronounces it Gaspers, but yeah, Jonathan is a good dude. Dealt with him a few times. We got a lot of the same friends, and becoming buddies with his employee Jeff down here. So yeah, Jonathan's good people, and I want to try that pie. Like I said, Jeff was telling me about that. Oh, Jonathan, while you're still on, hold on.
I'm a big rye fan, so anything rye and spicy is.
Yeah. Jeff gave us some samples of the Nulu, Jonathan. And then I missed the interview at Cut Rate the other day, but I went to support your business and bought a bottle.
I look forward to tasting that stuff when I get down there. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It's relative, like for what it is, it's priced accordingly. I was talking to Jeff about that earlier. I was like, it's a 4 to 5 year old product, MGP. It's single barrel. It's cast strength. I don't know, and I think I paid $55 out the door.
Yeah, if anything, that's a deal for a cask strength single barrel.
There's one place that had it for a little bit, or for a decent amount higher, but it wasn't because of the like a huge markup. It's because they didn't buy like a full. I think they didn't buy like a full case of it or whatever. They just bought a little bit of it, so it was just a little more expensive. I'm not going to name the store because I deal with them, but
now, Eric, is that a store pick? The 2 store picks or 2 single barrels?
I believe this is 2 single barrel. This does say PCS on it. Jonathan, what's the deal on the barrel 52? Barrel 52 of this Nulu. It says PCS. All right, let me put that up here.
Pure toasted s'mores, caramel kettle corn.
All right.
Looks like I'm gonna have to go shopping when I get down to Central Florida.
Yeah, let me put it up there. There we go. PCS. Bearded Monkeys Twisted DQ. What's up? Got barrel samples in of the NBS. Oh, nice. Is them your people? Bearded Monkeys.
Not sure.
Bearded Monkeys, what's up? All right, the other guy picked about. Gotcha. All right.
So yeah, we are.
I know that group. The other guys.
I'm taking a trip down I-75 to the bottom corner of Florida this upcoming weekend.
Is that your dad, Bearded Monkeys, Jason?
And
the Dave.
So you'll have a glut of videos where Eric and I are sitting side by side in person. Maybe checking out some Central Florida haunts.
So Jonathan, I actually I reviewed the 27 and the 52. Writing in my own notes, and I'll share them with you. I'll share them with you offline, so it'll influence Miller's taste buds because he's going to review them with me on video. But I did review both of those.
Very cool.
Anyway, so yeah, we're getting more people coming in. This is it's big timing.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I was going to let's see. I think what was I going to say? Yeah, so that the ball Nellen that I'm drinking, I would say it's an 8 out of 10 on the nose and about a 6.5 on taste. As far as like it being deceiving from the nose. But I mean, like I said, at $32, I'm not complaining. That's kind of our big thing. Oh, and for those who are joining in for the show, that's kind of what our show is we look for the bottles that are sub $60 roughly, and that you can find every day. And we try to look for hidden gems, kind of on the mid to lower shelves of things. So we're not reviewing any BT products necessarily, or anything that's heavily allocated. So we want to make sure that we let everybody know that our show is geared towards the person that's trying to get into whiskey and trying to find something that's a big bang for your buck type of whiskey. That's what we're trying to do.
And if we do ever review something that's on the higher end of the price scale or a little on the rarer side, it's usually only going to be for comparison of something else that is readily available that's going to be way more bang for your buck and easier to find.
Right. So, like, prime example, we're doing we're going to try to do a little Ardbeg tasting. And Ardbeg's got 3 that are 50 and a couple that are they got way more that's a little higher, but we're going to do the 3 that are in the 50 and the 2 that you can find that are in the 80s, and then we're going to see whether the 50s are worth more at their price point versus buying the $80 one. I think I sent the right one. Yep. All right. I sent the one to you, Jonathan. I sent the tasting notes there to your Facebook. But anyway, so welcome there, Dave. I haven't talked to him in years. Dave, what do you like to drink, Dave? It's been a while since Patton.
No, I'll pour another little glass. That's fine.
Sorry, half of the people that work in that office aren't there anymore. Here we go.
Good for you.
He quit drinking. Good for you, bearded monkey.
I don't think you can get any better than Ardbeg for an Isla.
I would like to try some of those like Isla Gold higher aged ones just to see what those taste like.
Just to see what it is. Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think for a true form of Isla, Ardbeg is the way to go.
It's got a fuller body than Lagavulin. It's got a more middle, a more meaty midsection than Lafroig. But all those are good ones too. I mean, I'm not gonna crap on them.
Comparing those 3 and all right, Jonathan Gore said I had spot on notes.
That's pretty good because you're not the tasting guy.
Well, sorry, I try, dig back into the weeds here on the inner workings of the shows. I try not to be on the show that much because I'm more of a knowledge-esque type person. I think you have a better palate than I do, but if I'm like sitting down and like gonna give this a fair shake, like I'm gonna hit in some notes, like I think you're better than I am as far as my palate. But
let me put it this way: we don't dabble in traditional tasting notes.
No, and I learned
most of the ones that we'll agree on are like more evocative of like memories and experiences, like walking into a dusty library with a glass full of grape juice,
I guess I learned.
and it's on fire.
I learned that from my buddy Zeke. Like I said, Zeke or he's the other half of the Dad's Drinking Bourbon, but he does that, and I think that's been a better way for me to do my tasting notes. Is it's all about your was it olfactory senses?
Yeah,
That I find better. I find better ways to taste with that.
I mean, because your average, Joe Schmo is not going to know what treacle is, or umami, or marzipan, or things like that. So if you boil it down into like things that folks can like normal folks can understand who haven't cracked the book on whiskey, then just about everybody knows what dusty hay smells like because they either worked in it, grew up around it, or went to a fall festival. That's so.
It was like that. I don't know. I don't know how many people on here have actually baled hay before, but that's a fun process. But I get that in the in my back. It's like the faint smell of wet hay, and like the subtlety of like cow shit, just like around.
I get that dusty hay out of E.H. Taylor, that dusty hay / like church music room.
Yep. Though the note that I get a lot, and I remember the first time I ever had Blood Oath, and obviously those are completely different whiskeys from pack to pack, but I think it was Blood Oath Pack 2. That smelled like a basement. I don't know what it was. It was, and I think there was some wine finishing in that one. I'm not sure, but it smelled wet. It smelled mildewy. It smelled cold. Like it was.
It was like that. Was it the
old like we said, old library books? Like I don't know. It just smelled cold. It smelled like a basement. It had a weird funk to it. That's what I attribute to the two notes that I attribute to funk, and that term is different from everybody else. But when I get funky, I get basement smell and like cheese. Like those are my funky smells.
That was it the 17-year-old Japanese export? Or am I mixing up turkeys? The one that was the one that was in the basement that came out at a lower proof at cask strength.
That was the first Master's Keep.
The first 17-year-old.
Yep.
Is that the one that did we have that?
I'll let you try it. Yeah.
See, I got funky off those dusty turkeys that we had, and it's just that kind of. And I think we talked about this on a previous show. I think it goes back to maybe the oak that they used back then.
It was the Eddie says it was the oak that they used, the lower entry proof at the time, and the fact that they were dumping a lot older whiskeys into it,
right?
And because you gotta think, because let's just say the holy grail of turkey is the cheesy gold foil. So that came out, I believe, in the mid 80s, maybe 84, 85, something like that. And it was 12 years old. That came out at 80, 84, 85, and 12 years old. So it was distilled, like, was it 73? So when it was being distilled then, that was at the peak of bourbon, like, losing its money. Like just because that's when everybody just wasn't buying it, and so they were literally trying to get rid of shit. So they had whiskey probably that was 15, 20 years old that was being distilled at that time at 107.
Gotcha.
In those older barrels from back then, dumping in it and making a 12-year-old product. So DJ would always say it that like the golden age of turkey is now, as far as like best tasting turkey. We're just chasing after stuff that people didn't want.
Right. Well, that's
Like,
I think that a lot of bourbon speaks to that. Everyone's chasing the old ass Pappy, the old ass turkey, the old ass Old Fort, like all that stuff that 10 years ago nobody would have wanted.
I've not found a whiskey. I've not found a whiskey that I've got or bought that I thought was worth $100. I think the max I've ever as far now sorry as let me explain that context. Worth as in its age and its taste.
Mm-hmm.
I have not found one that was worth $100. That being said, I've got plenty that I've paid $100. I've got some I paid $200, and then secondary, whatever. I've paid plenty for these bottles just because of either they're not around or special occasion, something like that. Like, but in normal markets, like I have not found one. Even that 15-year-old Knob Creek, like I love that, but as you stated before, they're 15-year-old single barrels, and I know it's a different style and product, but that's
the 12-year-old I feel like is probably decently priced at $65.
I think that's perfect.
Is the $30 step up worth it? I
don't know.
Having experienced, and you can go back and 2 weeks ago, I did a shootout of 3 15-year-old Knob Creeks, 2 single barrel picks, and the limited release. And you can go to your local store and get a 15-year-old pick, and worry about running out and go to another store and get another 15-year-old pick, and rack up 3 15-year-old picks. The only problem is you got 3 very different whiskeys. To summarize, and I definitely encourage you to watch the whole thing because it really highlights how different they are. I had one that was nice and sweet with a little bit of woodiness on the back end. I had one that was nice and spicy and oaky and made no secret of the fact that it stayed in a barrel. But what made that 15-year-old limited release like win out in that tasting was it was just a consistent profile. There was no, it wasn't like riding a roller coaster. It was a nice experience. It's like paddling the Swanee River versus paddling the Colorado River.
Right. And the thing with Beam too, that I think nuttiness has often been misconstrued, I think, for young. I think most things get that kind of nutty flavor at like 5-6 years old. Beam, that's its signature taste, and they've got it. They've got it. Old Tub, bottled and bond 4-year, all the way to 15-year, and
really, what I get from Beam at those higher proofs, like I get a nuttiness on the palate, that peanut, but on the nose, I get way more green apple, like coming right out of the gate. So what it all boils down to, especially with older whiskeys, is something that we have a limited grasp on, and that is science.
There is a sect of flavors that is made through science, through this aging process. However, it is up to your taste buds to decipher whether you're taking in that translation of flavor. So there you go.
Right, and I've actually got a T-shirt. I'll probably end up bringing it down when I come. But it's a molecule. It's the whiskey lactane molecule, and it is the molecule in oak wood that bonds with the alcohol throughout that aging process. And that's bourbon, that's rye, that's scotch, that's wine. It's whatever you stick in a barrel. That's what gives it those classic whiskey notes of vanilla, caramel, brown sugar, butterscotch, bananas part of that. Like it can influence a whole bunch of different flavors based on what's going on with the mash bill, how old it is, what you ate for lunch. I think the best example of that, or a good example of that, it's not the best one. I told you father-in-law had mixed up several pitchers of daiquiris the other weekend, and we tried. And I'll bring it. I want you to try it because it's actually really good. I think I talked about it on another episode. Hooten and Young. It's an American whiskey, 12 years old. Long story short, one of the guys from Black Hawk Down, when he retired, he got into whiskey. So it's not bourbon for a variety of reasons, but it's really good. It's 12-year-old whiskey. I got a lot of sweetness and lightness in vanilla and, just a really nice light flavor when I had tried it here by myself. We tried it at the end of the evening. We'd been drinking these sweet ass, mixed drinks all night and went to try it. And after having those, it's like when you go at Sunday dinner, you go back to your sweet tea after eating a piece of cake and it's not sweet anymore.
Yep.
So that was how that was. You drank it and there's no sweetness whatsoever. It was just smoky and oaky and it was actually kind of cool. It tasted great even then, but you kind of gotta, if you're gonna do a tasting, you kind of gotta have that in the back of your mind, especially if you're like at a restaurant and you're like, oh, after dinner, well, I want to have a glass of whiskey. Consider what you've had to eat leading up to that, because it may greatly influence, whether or not you like what you drink or whether what you drink tastes like absolute ass. It's all subjective. It's all bullshit, really.
Coffee's a big one. Coffee mess with your taste buds pretty bad.
Anything spicy. I love whiskey and barbecue, but nothing will screw up your taste buds for whiskey like even the slightest spicy dry rub on barbecue. Especially if you're going for like a Booker's or a high proof Knob Creek or something like that, you will burn your face off.
And two, when you're tasting stuff, know your restrictions on what your like. If your whiskey is starting to taste smooth, you're done. Like if you're losing all things except for, man, this burns a little bit, or that's all you're getting, your palate's shot. And I was telling Eric I was tasting the Nulu that first sample, and I thought it was a pretty hot whiskey given its proof. And I had to I took three or four good sips of it, just kind of let it roll around a little bit. But I had to stop because I was supposed to do the second one, and I couldn't give that second one a proper tasting and give it its due because I had just shot my palate from that first one.
And it
wasn't bad. Like, I'm not saying it was bad. It was just, you got to watch it with those proofs.
Yeah. That's why if you're going to do a flight, if you've got a whiskey collection, you want to show off to your friends and you want to do a flight, make sure they're all within maybe 10 proof points of each other. Like, don't go from like 80 to freaking 130, in a flight. You want to keep everything in, 90, 100, 110. Because if you're doing a blind, you're not going to know what's what. So if your first one is that high proof one, then your taste buds are gone. Especially if you're not as practiced in sniffing and you just stick your whole face in there, as Eric and I have done many times, and just you can't do nothing with it.
Yeah, good movie reference.
We're going to start giving out points if those of you watching at home can get what stupid movie reference we're throwing out. Chances are it's going to be one of three.
Twice when I was fishing.
No, but I have seen The Forks.
I think it's best they know. Gives a man courage to know what he's up against. If anybody can guess that movie, we'll give you a free sticker. Also, for those who are on, please like, share, and subscribe. We are like so close to our milestone of 100
So close.
subscribers.
So close. Hold on one second. We may be there.
We're still at 2. I'm looking at it.
Damn it.
We're at 2 left. That's all we're asking. Just say, hey,
2 left.
These are these dudes that I know for some reason. Hey, Brian Barnes. Brian Barnes is a kick-ass chicken dancer and a father of a chicken dancer. Eric,
Double chicken.
Do you guys ever smoke infuse? If so, what is your favorite wood with what whiskey? So to answer that, Brian, I have never personally smoke infused. I know some friends that do. And he uses cherry wood a lot. I have had some of his stuff that he has done, and now that being said, I tend to stay away from smoke infused. I know that's a big craze right now. And and it's my favorite scotches are smoky scotches. Like I love that, but the smoke is actually part of the distillate with it, and so it's not necessarily. I don't know the best way to put that. It's literally like the smoke is overpowering the whiskey, in my personal opinion. But I am not an expert on these things. I know people that love that, like smoked Manhattans or something like that. Like I've had a smoked Manhattan that I thought was delicious. And I think because that smoke kind of masks some of that sweetness of it. But like I don't actually like smoking just straight whiskey. But like I said, going forward, hey Donovan. Donovan is a neighbor-ish. He's in the neighborhood over. He is a kick-ass retailer. Or not retailer, sorry. Realtor. God, whiskey's flowing. Kick-ass
How the
realtor.
hell do you spell wrong when you're talking?
I'm dyslexic.
Let's see. Brian said he tried hickory with Blanton's, and it was really so that I haven't like I love gadgets. I think first episode I showed off my little kick-ass travel decanter, but it worked got me. I've shown off my cup. So I see on, especially because we've got a Whiskey Century Instagram, the all kinds of smoking gadgets and gizmos. So I'm very intrigued, and I've heard smoked old fashions are very good. One of my favorite old fashions I make with I'll slice an orange and hit it with a little bit of sugar and throw it on a grill to kind of caramelize a little bit and get that smokiness in there, and it's great. So I'm definitely open to trying it. Hickory, I don't even smoke like meat with hickory. I think it's got a very, if you over smoke meat with it, it's almost got like a sickeningly sweet flavor. But I think the amount of savoriness, especially with a higher rye like Blanton's, might work out well. I'd almost want to try it with like my Four Roses single barrel, like a higher proof high rye like that. Or maybe even like, or just a straight rye something. So to answer, no, we haven't done smoking. I think I'm more open to it than Eric is. I do enjoy a good old fashioned every now and then. Maybe we'll have to see what trouble we can get into this weekend with
and like I said earlier, Brian, don't take my opinion on smoking whiskeys as the Bible. I just don't mess with them that much. Like I said, Eric is truthful in that fact. He's probably way more open to that than I am. But I've had smoked Manhattans that I thought were good. Like I didn't have any fault with them. The whiskey, just the straight whiskeys that I've had that were smoked, it was just too much for me. I couldn't. I don't know. I didn't want that intense smoke like in the bourbon that I was drinking. That makes sense. I don't know.
Does it cut the sweetness of a Manhattan?
Yes. Yeah.
That sounds delightful. Yeah, I don't. I like old fashions because they got that kind of herb, especially if you get the right bitters. They got kind of like an herbalness that is it's not as sweet. But when you're just throwing vermouth in a bourbon, in a bourbon, I almost feel like you need something to kind of.
I wouldn't mind doing a like a smoked Sazerac, because that thing's
Yeah.
sweeter than hell anyway.
Yeah.
We could do, I don't know, we could find some kind of like really intense wood to smoke it with it. Maybe get like apple tree chips or something, and then like, soak them in whiskey and then smoke it. Now we're talking.
You want to do coconut husks?
I mean, we could. It is Florida.
I'll tell you. It was a pain in the ass. Tried it in Vegas. It was good, but not what my normal is. But appreciate y'all's input.
It's good to hear from you, Brian. I haven't like, so Brian was our big chicken guy at NOAC and everything, and his son Caleb, a big time chicken dancer. I believe he was national champion. But yeah, no, Brian and I know each other very well. I haven't met with him because NOAC was canceled this past year. But hopefully 2022 we'll be able to get together. And he also is part of the crew that runs either National Powwow or ACA. I think it's ACA. Yeah.
That's cool. Chicken's hard.
That's why we old time.
I dread going to a powwow where they mix up our regalia for chicken. That's awesome. Thank you for joining. And I definitely think I mean, there is whiskey in something like a smoked old fashioned or a smoked Manhattan. So it's not outside the realm of possibilities, and I actually kind of want to try it. So, yeah. However we make that happen.
Well, I think it's getting about that time for me and my fam. So
I was about to say we're hitting that 8 o'clock mark. So, thank you everyone for joining us. We got a little ticker going across the screen. It's not your news updates or your stock feed. It's how to connect with us. Follow us on Instagram. Pecan and any fruit would be your best bet. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Big Dave.
I'm a sucker for pecans in anything. So if I can put pecan wood in a whiskey. Follow us on Instagram. It's at Eric's_drink_whiskey. If you're not on Instagram and you're watching us here on Facebook Live, you already know where to find us. Go ahead and like and follow. We tend to cross post a lot. The only advantage is here on Facebook, we actually get to put video clips and stuff and link you directly to YouTube. And then if you're watching us on YouTube, you're already here. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you're not, YouTube is Eric's Drink Whiskey. That's where all of our videos live and stay in perpetuity. Again, we are 8 months strong now, and I think we've been doing weekly. So we've got like 30-something videos now?
I believe if you count this one, it'll be 36.
That's amazing. Who'd have thunk it? They should have never let us have internet. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us. This won't make it there, but we also have a podcast. It is Eric's Drink Whiskey Non-Chill Filtered. That is my brother from another mother's brainchild and wheelhouse. We've got a lot of back and forth banter, and we chase rabbits on this particular show because we're live and we can't edit anything. So just imagine the shit that we go through to actually get like a 15-20 minute episode up online. There's a lot of stuff that we have to cut out for time. All the behind the scenes audio, the non-chill filter, the uncut, goes up on Shout Engine and Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
And that is EDWNCF. Again, we are 2 subscribers away from 100 subscribers on YouTube. It has been a long, hard-fought battle, but we are almost there, and we thank and love every single one of you for supporting us. Once we hit 100, we will be announcing the Eric's Drink Whiskey sticker giveaway, because these actually came in. Oh, you can't see this.
Oh, we got one. We got
Whiskey.
One left. Let's get 100. One left.
Bourbon. EDW. We've tried this before. Our stickers got jacked up in shipping, but we got them. They're here. and even these. If you are our 100th subscriber and you send us a message, we'll send you some damn stickers just because we love you. But for everyone else, we'll be announcing a giveaway as soon as we hit 100. There'll be a couple of hoops to jump through, but we will send you some stickers. They are absolutely awesome. I've already slapped one on a water bottle because that's what I do. But thank you for joining us on this Sunday night. Happy Valentine's Day. We hope you got some good whiskey from those that love you, or those that love you that you don't want the folks that love you to know about. And if you don't drink, I hope your sweet tea was great. But
Sody pop,
sparkling water. But until next time, cheers.
Cheers.